I will never stop talking about objectivity in fandoms because fandoms have no objectivity. You either support the people they support, agree with the takes that they have, or you are the enemy and you must be destroyed. And it's not just about fandoms, that's everything. And this has been bred out from social media. This wasn't a thing before social media. We all had our opinions in the privacy of our own homes, down the pub with our mates. We used to agree to disagree. But now, like the divide in terms of politics, the right and the left are both on the wrong side of history, by the way, proud to be apolitical. But anyway, my point is, like the arguments between the James Gunn stands and the Zack Snyder stands, by the way, I love both filmmakers, work. But when I've dared to constructively criticize either of them, you guys on both sides of the Snyder and Gunn fandoms have come for me and come for me big time. And it's not the way a civilized society should behave. Don't get me wrong. I never used to have objectivity. When Smallville was on the telly, I was obsessed with it. When the DCEU Snyderverse first started, God help anyone, may the gods help anyone who attacked my beloved Snyderverse and DCEU or my beloved Smallville. I had no objectivity. But these days, I do have objectivity because I'm a grown-up now. I'm 52 years old. But I'm not here to talk about objectivity today, but I thought I'd start the video off with that because objectivity is very, very important. I'm not going to die on any millionaire director's hill. Make me a goddamn good movie, I'll support it and I'll support you for that movie. But just because you've made one good movie or two or three doesn't mean the next movie, is going to be great. I have to see it to see if it's going to be great. You don't automatically get my seal of approval because you did once or twice or thrice, did something that I liked. So, does James Gunn know who the DCU Batman is? I've got mixed opinions about this. There's one side of me that thinks, of course the man knows who his DCU Batman is and he's playing with us. And he'll probably, have a small little cameo, maybe in a post-credit scene, maybe during the Superman movie. But there's another side of me, because I'm not a god. I don't know everything. I don't know whether James Gunn does know the identity of his DCU Batman or not. The truth is, none of us do, unless maybe you're a scooper or someone that works at WB or DC Studios or whatever. I certainly do not know. But there's the other side of me that's thinking maybe James Gunn hasn't made a decision on his DCU Batman, but this is what must happen. By the end of Superman 2025, we must know the identity of the DCU Batman. Whether that's before we see this film or because we see this Superman movie, we must know. The uncertainty towards the DCU Batman isn't helping anyone. Is it Jensen Ackles? Is it this one? Is it that one? Is it Robert Pattinson? And my theory of Ben Affleck, by the way, I think Ben Affleck is a superb Batman. I'd be very happy if he was a kind of DCU Batman, but more kind of in a different kind of sense with the Bat family and older Batman. Now, if you look at the design of the Creature Commandos version of the DCU Batman, he does look very Frank Miller. We did discuss that the other day, didn't we? So there's two sides to this. Has James Gunn got a Batman plan or hasn't he? Well, he may not actually have a Batman plan, but Mick, that's insane. He's announced a Batman movie, Brave and the Bold. Where is it? Where's the script? Where's the casting? Where's the development? It seems from the outside looking in, and I am on the outside looking in, so that's important. I don't know for sure, but from, the outside looking in, it doesn't look like there's much of a plan, that there's any development on any DCU Batman content. And one cameo in an animated series doesn't ease anyone's paranoia about the DCU Batman. These rumours about Robert Pattinson must be finally confirmed or denied. Zack's denied them. Zack, no. James Gunn. James has denied them. Let's get the person right who's running this iteration of the DC franchise. You see, even I'm confused. I can't, it's crazy, isn't it? Because Zack Snyder was pretty much running the DCEU at the beginning, wasn't he? But anyway, yeah, it's got to be quashed, because yes, James Gunn has denied that Robert Pattinson, that Matt Reeves' Batman crime saga is going to be merged into the DCU. He's denied that. But let's be honest, if that was going to happen, James Gunn wouldn't be telling us. So I don't know. There's a lot of people who want, Matt Reeves' crime saga to be merged. But make no mistake, the only way Matt Reeves is going to allow this if he is running the Batman side in the DCU. And James Gunn started talking about when he announced his slate, Gods and Monsters Part 1, that his Batman would be a more fantastical Batman. Well, that goes out the window if Matt Reeves is running Batman in the DCU. And how many more grounded versions of Batman can one have? The Christopher Nolan Dark Knight trilogy. Now Matt Reeves' version as well. Zack Snyder's version, which I enjoyed. But they've all been real world and grounded. And I think it is time for a more fantastical Batman. I want to see more Ra's al Ghul. I liked him in the Dark Knight trilogy. I liked him in Batman Begins. I thought Liam Neeson did a good job. I mean, it's not Raz, is it? They were calling him Raz. It is Ra's al Ghul. That's how you say it. Anyway, whatever. It doesn't matter. And by the way, congratulations to Colin Farrell for winning the Golden Globe Best Actors Award. Now, Kristen Milotti didn't win it, and Jodie Foster won that award for the female actor side of things at the Golden Globes. Some people are mad about that. The internet doesn't decide who wins these awards, and I'm really glad the internet doesn't decide. Anyway, Jodie Foster is one of the best actors who's ever lived. Now, I didn't watch Night Country, which I assume is what she won it for. I've never watched a True Detective season at all. I'm certainly not going to watch the worst series of True Detective, according to the people that I've spoken to. But congratulations to Jodie. I'm sure she deserves it because she is a very talented woman. But anyway, yeah, James Gunn has to knock this on the head. Now, he either knows the identity of his DCU Batman or he doesn't know the identity of his DCU Batman. If he doesn't, we're all in trouble. The DCU is in trouble. I've spoken about this many times. And however repetitive it is, it's an important discussion to keep on having. He's now teased his DCU Batman in Creature Commandos. So clearly, he's got to know what he's doing with Batman. Clearly, he must know who's going to play Batman. And clearly, if you look at it, it is a Frank Miller type of Batman. It's an older Batman. Now, don't forget, months and months and months ago, he was talking about a Batman in his 30s and 30s, slightly older. Now, if it's Ben Affleck's like, what, mid to late 50s now? I don't know. I think we are going for an older Batman. I think we are. Because he's hinting it there, which is kind of a change to what he was originally going to do. So why would he be looking at an older Batman? I'll tell you why. Because Matt Reeves' Batman is kind of young. So if you've got two young Batmen in live action, it's too samey. They're kind of going through the same thing. So it's interesting. Now that design we saw of Batman, who looks like a Frank Miller Batman, may just be a way to kind of, distract us from the fact that it might be Robert Pattinson. Now, I can't count out that Robert Pattinson may merge with the DCU. I can't. Nobody can do that. I don't know. At this point, nobody knows. Nobody can say that Robert Pattinson will definitely be the DCU Batman or won't be the DCU Batman. It's a mess, everyone. It's a mess. But the one person that must know who the DCU Batman is at least not going to be is James Gunn. But really, he should have already cast an actor. And I believe that I'd like to believe that James Gunn does have a Batman plan. I'd like to believe that he's already cast his Batman and Bruce Wayne, and he will reveal him sooner rather than later, probably in the Superman movie, because obviously it's good for box office to have a Batman cameo. Imagine if he was to announce, if you want to know who the new DCU Batman is, go and watch Superman. Now, hopefully with the trailer views and, and it's apparently IMDb's most anticipated movie of 2025, it doesn't need a Batman cameo, but it can only help. If you want to find out who the new DCU Batman's going to be, you're going to go and have to watch Superman. That's if he knows who the DCU Batman is. But he needs to know who the DCU Batman is. He must, if he doesn't have a plan, we are all in trouble here. Batman is so important. And it's interesting with Man of Steel. Despite people saying the sequel to Man of Steel was Batman vs Superman Dawn of Justice because Man of Steel's box office was bad, or Man of Steel was a flop. Man of Steel was not a flop. It made a healthy profit. Warner Brothers wanted it and expected it to make more money. But to disperse the myths that BVS is the Man of Steel sequel because of the Man of Steel box office, just look at the Easter eggs we got. For Batman, we got a Wayne satellite where Zod and Superman are fighting. So they clearly had Lex Luthor plans, because we saw lots of Lex Corp stuff as well. We saw a couple of Lex Corp vehicles. So there was a plan for Lex and there was a plan for Batman. They knew what they were doing. They just didn't want to reveal the actors in that movie because they didn't know if that movie was going to be successful enough to do a sequel. And it was. If Man of Steel didn't make a profit, we would never have gotten Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice. So there. So even the Snyderverse had a Batman plan from the very, very beginning. Now, does James Gunn have a Batman plan from the very, very beginning? I would be absolutely stunned, even in terms of New Hollywood. Even they can't be incompetent enough to think that they can't have a DCU Batman. You can't announce a slate of films. You can't have a Batman film in your Part 1 slate, Gods and Monsters Part 1, and then say, well, we've got no script and we don't green light projects unless we get a good script. Well, that's all very good and everything, James, but you have announced the movie. So at the very least, you should know who the actor who's playing Batman should be. You should have known way before you announced Gods and Monsters Part 1. Did you know? Didn't you know? I don't know. Are you doing an open casting call for Batman, or did you always know who your DCU Batman would be? Knowing James Gunn, I think he had a very good idea who he wanted to play Batman and Bruce Wayne. I think he knew it from the very beginning when he got the gig as DC Studios co-CEO, and I think he went to that person. So it may not be a Frank Miller older Batman. As I say, that could just be, all BS. And we've kind of spoken about Chris Pratt. Would Chris Pratt make a great Batman and a great Bruce Wayne? Yes, Chris Pratt would be absolutely perfect. And it's something different for Chris because obviously Star-Lord is a very different type of character, and the other characters that he's played are very different. So I think that would be a very, very interesting DCU Batman. Jensen Ackles, he's cheap because Warner Brothers haven't got a lot of money. Look, Jensen's great. I like Jensen. But no, that wouldn't work for me. I just don't think, no. Look, he would do a great job. I like Jensen Ackles. I think he's great. But no, I don't think he's the DCU Batman. He's going to be an actor that James knows and trusts, because I suppose in a lot of ways, even though Superman is my number one character, Batman is the most important. You must get Batman right. As I say, all this uncertainty around DCU Batman hasn't been great. It's been very, very poor. But clearly, they haven't been ready at this stage to announce who the DCU Batman is. I'm going to make a huge assumption that we're going to see Batman in a lot of people's films before we see him in an actual DCU Batman movie. Because I think the original idea of Brave and the Bold may not be the idea. As I say every day, on every video, excuse me, Andrew Muschietti will not be directing Brave and the Bold or any other Batman movie. I stand by that. But does James Gunn know his DCU Batman?